The Miami Dolphins finally did it. They finally got themselves a corner. Let's get into the details. Yo, what is up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins and a few roster moves they moved, considering they signed a new corner. They released a few of their players. We're going to get into more of the details. First, I want to get into their new starting corner. They just signed Rasul Douglas. I think it was a 1-year, $3 million deal. I've got a lot of mixed feelings about the Rasul Douglas signing. Yeah, I do like Rasul Douglas. I think he was a very, very solid zone corner for the Buffalo Bills last year. The only thing that concerns me is he is coming off of one of his worser years, but it was because they did switch up their scheme. A lot of people, when they switch schemes, they aren't really used to it. They don't play as well. We witnessed that with Minkah Fitzpatrick when he went from being his free safety role that he plays in Miami now, from what he was playing in Pittsburgh. He was one of the worst corners in coverage, and when he came back to Miami, what we do with Anthony Weaver, he has fit that mold perfectly on what we need, and he absolutely outperformed. I hope we can do the same thing that we did with Minkah with Rasul Douglas. I want to pull up some of his stats from last year. So I'm just going off a little bit of the PFF here. One thing I do love about Rasul Douglas is he is a very, very physical corner when it comes to it. He's very good at tackling. I didn't pay for the PFF, but his overall grade last year wasn't one of the best. Obviously because he had that huge down year. But if we go look at 2023 and how he was in that defense, look at these numbers. Look at the just change in his play style. I think our defense is a lot more similar to the 2023 Bills defense than it is to the 2024 Bill defense. He was just an all-around stud for the Bills in 2023. We'll go back to like 2022 as well, when he was coming off that really bad year with the Packers, because they ran another similar defense to what the Bills ran last year. So he went to the Buffalo. He requested a trade for the Buffalo Bills, got that trade, and absolutely performed well with that first year with the Bills. Here's just some of his career stats over the past few years. These are just his stats with the Bills in the 2 years he played. 24 games played. I don't think he started in his first game that he played with them, but every other game he'd start. They had some blitz packages where he had a few TFLs. He had a sack, a forced fumble. That's the one thing I really think he's very good at, is popping that ball out. It kind of reminds me how Marlon Humphrey plays. Very, very physical corner, makes good tackles, can punch out the ball, makes some great pass defenses. He had I think this is wrong. I think he had 5 interceptions in 2023, 0 last year. A pick 6 against the Patriots. I think that's what this clip is that just won't load for some reason. But I think a lot of people are underestimating what this brings to the Miami Dolphins. What he brings to the Miami Dolphins is that character that we need in that corner room, a nice leadership. Let me just bring up the Miami Dolphins whole depth chart on what it would look like. All right, so what I think it's going to end up turning to be is Rasul Douglas. Oh wow, they already updated this. Rasul Douglas will take over that number 1 corner spot. Why does it only show 2 corners? Oh, okay, that's the nickel. Okay, so Storm Duck will go down to left corner. Rasul Douglas will go on that right corner spot. Jason Marshall will be our nickel corner for the year. Jack Jones will be that backup corner. He might actually take that spot of Kendall Sheffield, which it seems like it has. He'll jump in front of him. I think Storm Duck will be that starter until someone else can step up. Maybe Jack Jones. I know Jack Jones and Storm Duck have been out, like, performing one-on-one, like, really, really well this offseason, but we're going to have to see who can take that huge step forward and actually claim that spot. No one's going to take that Jason Marshall Jr. spot until Kader Kahua come back, but he's absolutely stepped up, and I'm very, very happy to see that pick has actually done really well for us. He's gonna be that great nickel corner for us for the next year. Some news regarding other corner situations. Asante Samuel Jr., another corner that the Dolphins were looking at. He's not going to get anything done with his neck injury till October, so I'm very glad that we did not pursue him as heavy as it seemed like we were going to. It would have just been a waste of time, waste of money. We did have some releases today. Sadly, Grayson Murphy, who I thought was going to make the 53-man roster, did get released today. Another stud that we just don't have too many receivers, so another team could probably pick him up off of waivers. Andrew Armstrong, he did not make the roster. Theo Weiss Jr., who was fantastic throughout the preseason. Again, we just have too many receivers. I think this means if Theo Weiss didn't make it, Taj is going to make it. Eric Guzukama, he's just been like in and out of this lineup for the past 3 years he's been here, so I'm not surprised by the release. He'll probably end up getting signed to the practice squad. These two right here are probably gonna make the practice squad. I am a little surprised about Patrick Morris getting released. I thought he was going to make that 53-man roster, maybe backing up Minka. Actually, now that I think about it, I think he would probably back up Elijah Campbell more than he would back up Minka. But again, I don't think we're going to keep 6-7 safeties, so it doesn't make sense. Derek McLendon, another linebacker who just got released. We have our 4. I think that's pretty much set. We have Jordan Brooks, we got Terrell Dotson, Willie Gay Jr., and Cameron Britt. Those are our 4 who we don't need more than 4 linebackers. Matt Dickerson did get released. Quentin Bell, another person who I thought would be fighting for that 53-man spot, but he obviously did not make it. I think he was borderline in or out. I think that's... Oh, some other serious news. Jason Sanders is going to be missing up to 5 weeks with a hip injury. Now, what does this mean for the Dolphins? It means we need to go sign a kicker. Whether that's... I don't know who available kickers are, but like this is obviously huge injury for us. Jalen Wright's gonna be missing the season opener. We did release one of our. I was a little surprised by these 2 releases here: Farrell Brown and Mike Hilton. Farrell Brown we had signed this offseason to build more of that blocking tight end. He just did not fit our scheme. He was very slow, not really great at the blocking. And he was very, very awful. He was awful in the receiving game. Like, he was dropping wide open passes, couldn't run his routes correctly. It was not surprised by that. Mike Boone, I'm not really that surprised, but was surprised now that the Jalen Wright injury and Devon Achane will be probably missing week 1, that we didn't have at least a little bit of depth behind Ollie Gordon, making me think that we are going to be signing Jamal Williams or one of the other free agent running backs. Mike Hilton, I'm very, very surprised by this because I thought he was going to be that starter for us. I thought he was going to be our starting nickel, taking over that leadership role on the corners for us, taking that step forward where Kader Kohu would be. But apparently Jason Marshall Jr. just outcompeted him, pushed him out of the way, and all around just said, Mike Hilton, you're not worth our time and money. You can go somewhere else where you can actually do something. Adam Scamplin, another backup running back that we had signed. We had both signed Mike Boone and Shamplin the same day. Again, I'm not really surprised they're not going to be starting or playing any games for us. But we'll see. Liam Eichenberg will probably be out, I'll say 4 weeks. I think he's going to start on that PUP list. Just because if you start on that IR, it's very, very lower chance of where you're going to be coming back to the season. And also kind of just waste that spot for us. Devon Achane, apparently he's been doing really well with his recovery process. I don't want them to rush it back because I feel like Ollie Gordon can easily take that spot for him, at least while he's gone. The last thing I wanted the Dolphins to do is rush back Devon Achane from an injury, just for him to get a more serious injury. So if they sit him out 1 or 2 weeks, I'm fine with that. Ollie Gordon has been showing that he is a starter. He can run with starters. He can do pretty much anything. He runs that gap. He can run over defenders. He's just that guy. I feel like he's going to take a huge step for us. He's going to be like in that 2023 Raheem Mostert role for I feel like most of the year. So we'll figure that out when the time comes closer. I think Quinn Ewers is going to end up taking that QB2 spot. A lot of people have just said that Zach Wilson's only on the roster just because of his contract. So we'll see what goes on with that. I'm probably going to record another video after this going over my season predictions for the year, just because we're a week away from that season opener where we open against Indy. I hope to see by the end of the day we sign another player, whether that's a corner, maybe a little backup on the offensive line, a kicker. That would be nice to go look at because we have our kicker on probably going to be end up putting on IR just to open up that spot. I honestly am nervous for that special teams unit. I'm not nervous about our defense as much anymore just because I feel like Rasul Douglas is going to make a huge impact with us. I wish we signed him later or a little earlier than that, but 1 year, $3 million, not much on that contract. It's very, very risk-free, I feel like. For all those people who are thinking he's going to be the next Jordan Poyer, where we had signed him last year for a nice, cheap 1 year contract, and he just honestly destroyed our locker room, made us lose a few games, probably played the worst I've ever seen someone play as a safety last year. I don't think that's going to be the same for Rasul Douglas. He is one of those guys who wants to be out there, wants to play for his team, wants to win games. So he's going to be one of those leaders. Jordan Brooks is going to help with that leadership. Mink is going to be that leader. Zach Sealer's always been that leader for us. I think Bradley Chubb is still always a leader for him. So we're going to see what happens. I think that defensive line is that's going to be probably our best unit all year. That front seven is just unstoppable, with the linebacker core being a lot with the depth, and the defensive line having a good amount of depth as well. One thing I gotta say is I hope that we are a very less injury risk team coming into the year. I know Tua has those risk problems. A-Chain has those risk problems. Obviously, Tyreek right now has those risk problems, but there's nothing we can do about that. We're just gonna have to hope that no injuries happen and we can make it through the season. Austin Jackson is on his way back from the injury list. We're going to see what happens with that. There are a few offensive tackles that have just been released that a lot of people are saying we should go sign for some depth. We also did release some of our practice squad bums who were playing offensive tackle for us that just were getting absolutely destroyed, like Larry Borum, who was awful for us. I am very, very glad he's off our roster. We're just going to have to hope we can, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel can cook up something to get us a little bit closer to what we were a few years ago and actually get that playoff win this year. Our schedule is very, very in the middle. We have those good opponents, great opponents, and then we have those lower end mediocre teams that we don't know where they are yet. But I do think this year we can make that push and maybe win a playoff game. It just honestly depends on health and where Mike McDaniel's head's at with coaching. We can actually do something with the run the year. Like last year when we had Raheem Mostert, I think he was a shell of himself. It seemed like our run game was not working. I think we can definitely make a run game happen this year. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. But that's all I got today. Make sure you drop a like. Go follow my Twitch, Twitter, all stuff like that. I'll probably keep you guys updated if there's any other releases on my Twitter, TikTok. We'll see with all that. But you guys have a great rest of your day.